Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new episode of The Gully Squad. How you doing, everybody? Ooh, we have stuff to talk about today. Ooh. First, I want to say Happy New Year's to everyone. Happy New Year's. This is my first podcast for the new year. And it's starting off with a bang. You know, hope everybody had a good New Year with the family. And first week of New Year's. And the world has changed again. I mean, you know, it seems like we're just redoing 2020. I mean, yes, it's a new year, but we really are just continuing shit popping off as if it was 2020. I mean, we went through so much in 2020. I mean, I don't want to go through a recap, but we went through a lot of stuff. The world changed in 2020. And now, the first week of 2021, we get insurrection. We get goddamn insurrection. People, white nationalists, Proud Boys, white supremacists, bomb rushing the goddamn Capitol. Now, at first, when I saw what was happening, I started looking at people, I started looking at people conversating online and, saying how, you black people should stay out of it. It's not our fight. Da, da, da. And yeah, it's not our fight, but I don't think people really understood in the beginning what this meant. The implications of what the hell was going on. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, now that we're seeing, and if you notice, I've been posting like crazy about this because this is a national security event. And it happened in early 2021. We literally had individuals attacking our nation's capital. Now people understand how big this is, but they have made countless movies about what would happen, under siege, what's the name, down, London, America Down, whatever. A lot of movies they've made about this type of implications of what can go bad if foreign individuals coming to attack our nation's capital. And it could have went really, really, really bad. Really bad. And I think people now are starting to realize. I mean, at first, like I said, I'm going through, Instagram and Facebook and just looking at people's feedback. And a lot of black people in the community, black people in that are, that are very reputable. Like, we shouldn't, let's mind our business. This is our business. We as Americans living in this country, if this nation falls, we all fucked. So I was taking this very seriously. Very, very seriously. And that's, like I said, once again, that's the reason why I was posting the shit out of this. But let me backtrack. I got to backtrack. When Donald Trump had his speech, at that rally, he's been drumming up his base. Let's keep it a buck. He's been drumming up his base. But he also likes to talk in codes. And they know what he means. Okay? Now, they were planning this shit for a minute. To the point where I know they had people working on the inside. And how do I know? God damn it. You cannot just go up in the Capitol just like this and hundreds of people go in the Capitol just like that. Without doors being open for you, without certain security, apparatus being dismantled for you. And you could see it. You see it in videos. Countless police officers letting them in our nation's capital. What makes this even worse, I mean, there's so much to unpack here, but what makes this even worse is that, one, it wasn't foreigners. Think about that, folks. It wasn't foreigners. It wasn't other nations coming in. And usually, like I said, going back to the movie thing, usually when you see our nation's capital, and a lot of movies, they portray shit like this, that we're being attacked is by foreign nations. Foreign nations. And then you see what they do as the appropriate protocol, which is, someone attacking our capital, and we sniping their asses. Straight slugs to the head. Whoop, whoop. That is actually the protocol. If you're trying to come into our nation's capital in that manner, you're supposed to be executed on sight. 2 slugs in the head. Boop, boop. Now, unlike previously, a lot of people do protests, and they protest outside of the Capitol, which is appropriate. You do outside the Capitol. That's been happening for years, decades. People protesting. Just like what they did with the Black Lives Matter. But if you notice with the Black Lives Matter protests, they were the National Guards. They were strapped. They were ready. As they should. Now, some people say, oh, they shouldn't have had all those National Guards and all those security measures for, Black Lives Matter. They should, for any nation's capital. For any nation's capital, you are supposed to be armed to the goddamn teeth. I don't think some people don't even get this. I mean, yeah, we may talk a lot of shit, as podcasters and people that live here, and sometimes we forget that, yeah, we have the freedom to talk shit about our government, and that because we're Americans. But we have to understand, this is our country still. This is our country. And we cannot allow any threat, foreign or domestic, to jeopardize our national security. I'm going to say that shit again for you motherfuckers that don't listen very well or don't understand. We cannot allow, God damn it, I'm an American. We cannot allow any threats, foreign or domestic, to circumvent our country. I'm a goddamn American. I don't know about you motherfuckers, but I'm a goddamn American. And I believe in that wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. Yes, I talk shit about this government all the goddamn time. Shit, it's my right. But there's boundaries, goddammit. And those people, they cross the line. And it's funny how white Americans always talk about, I'm an American, but they're always the first ones to try to topple the goddamn government. Has anyone noticed this? Has anyone ever really paid attention? White Americans, not all, but many, are always talking about, I'm an American, get out of my country, I'm an American. But you are always the ones talking about toppling the goddamn shit. For the past couple of years, have you guys not noticed also that every time there's some type of, militia, they're the first ones taking over, like, the city Congress, their national Congress. They're always they're always at the city halls. They're always taking over city halls. They're constantly doing that. Peep that shit out. Some militia in Montana or Colorado, they're always taking over some type of municipal building. Constantly doing that. So this actually shouldn't be so shocking. We should have seen this coming. Or maybe some people did. I'm going to say that again. Maybe some people did. Because they're constantly doing that type of shit. But getting back to this particular situation. This shit right here was a threat. A big threat. And a threat that's going to have ramifications that some of us can't even imagine. But I'm going to speak on some of those ramifications. Like I said, this is the reason why I've been posting, I've been posting shit out about this situation, because it's that serious. It is that serious. And these people, every goddamn one of them, you gonna get that heat. You gonna get that work. Every goddamn one of them that was ready to topple our nation capital should be doing $150 in jail. You climbed the Capitol to bum rush the Capitol, 50 years. You broke property, 10 years. You stealing shit? Oh, and for those like that one Virginia representative, see, that is right there one of the biggest aspects of treason. One of the biggest aspects of treason. You are a representative of these United States and you bum rush the Capitol, send his ass under the goddamn jail. You're not an American. And us Americans who are proud to be Americans, we're gonna call out these bastards left and right. Do I agree with some of the shit that the Democrats have done in our Congress? Oh, hell no. Do I agree of what Donald Trump has done? Oh, hell no. I told you, I'm agnostic when it comes to politics. I don't like neither one of these motherfuckers. Because they don't do anything for black people. Specifically. They do not do anything specifically for black people. They do everything for everybody else, but that's a different topic. But the point is, I would never think about toppling our nation as an American, no matter what. This is our country. Someone had asked me a long time ago, what would you do if a foreign country tried to occupy American land? Because you talk shit because they know me. I'm a gun squad. I talk shit about our Congress all the time. I talk about shit about our, and I said, I'll be the first one to put 2 slugs in the head. Boop boop. You coming over here and try to take over our nation's capital or our nation? You gonna get that work. You gonna get that heat. Why? Because any foreign nation that tries to come here, they don't give a fuck if I'm Black American. They don't give a fuck if I'm white American. If we were attacked, they don't give a fuck. They wouldn't care. They would try to take us out anyway. And I feel the same way for those who are trying to attack us from within. And we should understand that. And we should tell the powers that be presently, which is the Democratic Congress. I mean, they literally took over. They have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. They need to understand that while this whole time you guys been worrying about black people and constantly shitting on black people, black Americans, black people, arresting our asses left and right, getting out in cops to kill black people indiscriminately. Yes, I'm talking to you, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. But you guys been shitting on black people for a long time. Too long. While you've been allowing to a coup manifest within the ranks of America. And it's been white, male, conservative, unpatriotic males who've been looking to decapitate our America. These terrorists, these treasonists, these insurrectionists. You've dropped the ball and we calling you out for it. I'm a black man and I'm calling you out for it. And I'm letting you guys know you've been worrying about us. You've been shitting on us. You've been letting these damn cops, these Nazi ass cops, killing civilians, unarmed civilians, left and right. And what you actually have done is allowed a segment of the population to think we can do whatever we want. Oh, the chickens have come to roost. You're gonna get this work. You're gonna get this heat. We haven't even talked about the ramifications yet, but I'm just pulling your skirt. I'm just letting the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, I'm just pulling your goddamn skirt. Oh, this is gonna be a hot one. This is gonna be a hot one. You have allowed a segment of the population to feel that they are untouchable. You have allowed them to think, well, they can do whatever they want, whenever they want. Oh, not a problem. Oh, I killed an unarmed black man. I can get away with it. I don't like black people. I'm a Nazi. I don't like black people. I have a badge. I'm a congressman. I can do what I want. When you let down that psychological ego muster for so long, it becomes parasitic. And now you got the Proud Boys standing by, doing shit left and right, and the police officers just letting them. See, the world sees that. The nation sees that. But black people, when they tell you, wait a minute, we don't want to get killed by police officers. Oh, all hell breaks loose. You bring in the National Guard. You bring on the heavyweights on women and children just to protest to not to get killed. While at the same time, you've been having this parasite, this treasonous, these insurrectionists manifest and try to take over our capital. Do you know how bad this could have turned out? I mean, it's politically, this is such a black eye for America in the early 2021, because the whole world have seen this. Just like the whole world have seen how black America has been treated throughout the years, especially in 2021 with the killing of George Floyd, which went nationwide. The whole world has seen the disparity that goes on in America. And the whole world said, you know, what's wrong with you Americans? Especially you white Americans who run shit. What is wrong with you? You're allowing your racism to really destroy you, but in more ways than one. Because your overly heavily hand tactics on people who are actually protesting, rightfully so, about unarmed people getting killed, you have allowed these degenerates to rise up. These white nationalists to rise up and say, we can do whatever we want. I even seen a few of them say, this is our house, while they're trampling inside there, breaking windows and shit. This is our house. We taking over that shit. One motherfucker said, so when we get in there, what are we going to do? Oh, we're going to put their heads on pikes. This is what you get. Chickens have come home to roost. And how badly this would have went. This could have went so badly. And they planned it because they knew House was in session. The Senate was in session. Now, let's just say that those hundreds of people went in there. Okay, they were just going to go in there, make a little noise, whatever. Still treasonous shit. But they were just going to go in there and make some noise. Okay. Still treasonous shit. But that's all they were going to do. It would have only taken one individual that was really, really off the deep end and said, oh, they're in session. Oh, there's a senator. Oh, there you go. Is that Nancy? Bloop, bloop. Oh, thank God that didn't happen. It would have only just taken one real nutcase. And this whole scenario would have been 10 times worse. And the whole world would have been watching. And they have found They have arrested one guy who had I think an M16. They found pipe bombs. One guy had one white nationalist. He had thick ass tie wraps. Shit that you fucking bond people with. Arrest people with. The thick ones. What was he planning to do with it? He was planning to capture some people. This was bad, America. Democratic Party, Republican Party, I hope you're listening. People in Congress, I hope you're listening. This was bad. Real bad. The ramifications of this goes international. Let me repeat. The ramifications. Now, I can keep on going on the domestic, but let's just talk about international for a brief second. Internationally, this is such a black eye on America. This is going to go down in history books because the Capitol hasn't been sacked since 1814, and it was done in January 2021 by white America. Now, internationally, you've already had England and France and Germany already said, what the hell's going on in America? Prime ministers and world leaders area like, what the fuck what the hell's going on? Because they know this is serious. What the hell are you doing in America? But the ramifications on a deeper level is that other rogue nations have seen this and said, oh, wait a minute. It was that easy? Let me say that shit again. Other rogue nations that actually wants to do harm to America, they're sitting back and saying, oh, it was that easy to sack. And it kind of was. It only took a couple hundred people. Came in there, yelled a little bit, talked some shit, came in, and that was it. It didn't take big tanks. It didn't take, like how the movies are show. It didn't take, all this extra fancy shit. I hope you're listening, Congress. I hope you're paying attention. It didn't take a lot for them to sack our capital. Not at all. And rogue groups who actually want to do harm. Like we gotta be very open to this. We gotta be honest. Central Intelligence is looking at this in every aspect, and we gotta be truthful. Because if I was in Central Intelligence, I would, and I'm just a regular guy, and I'm thinking about it. So if I'm thinking about it, the bad guys are thinking about it. It was that easy to take over the Capitol in America? Don't you guys spend almost $750 billion a goddamn year? Matter of fact, that's another, I'm not going to go too deep on that, but I'm going to say this. Y'all need to cut the fucking military budget. What the fuck are you spending it on? You spend $750 billion a year. I didn't see it. Our military budget was just put on for the test. You might as well cut the bitch in half. There you go. Give black people their reparations and give black people their reparations and cut this bitch in half. Because it's $750 billion for what? You got a couple of missing tooth motherfuckers that was able to sack the goddamn thing in 2 hours. With no guns. Well, barely no guns. And a couple of sticks in their hand. The hell are you spending $750 billion for? If it was that easy. In less than 2 hours. And that's what these rogue nations are thinking. See, this is what I'm saying. The ramifications of this act is deep. If this was done in China, every one of them would have been executed. If this was done in Japan, even though Japan doesn't do shit like that, but people going missing in Japan too. But because Japan is a little more peaceful nation, they weren't always peaceful. No, don't get it twisted. Those Japanese, those motherfuckers was vile. If that would happen in Japan, execution. If that would happen in many African countries, execution. And here's the thing, that is actually our policy. That is our policy. You try to take over the government, execute it on sight. But because Congress, white America, Democrats, Republicans, people who are in power, because you have coddled these racist, nationalist, white domestic terrorists for so long, you didn't see it coming. So yes, this is the big problem that you have. And now the whole world really knows the big problem that you have. It's your own people. It's your own people. So what you gonna do about it? Publicly, you have to do something. Now, if you wouldn't want me as president, because every one of them would have been executed. See, I'm gully. I really am gully like that. Oh no, I don't believe in harming people, and I don't believe in, just, pure mayhem and anarchy and just, everybody should, you should be harming people. I don't believe that. But when it comes to national security, I'm very old school. Very old school. You try to take over our government, bloop, bloop. Execution. I just believe it. I'm thorough like that. I'm that nigga. I firmly believe you try to take over the government, bloop, bloop, 2 shots in the head. Execution. Or minimum, get indicted for treason and you spend some time in jail. A good amount of time. And that may offend some people because fuck all that. I ain't you. I'm gully. There's a reason I'm called the gully. There's a reason why this is called the Gully Squad. I am gully like that. I believe in capital punishment. So you can't say you believe in capital punishment if you can't say you believe in capital punishment if it depends on the crime, if it's crime. This right here could have toppled in many ways our society. Psychologically, physically, this could have done and it's already done a lot of damage. But when you try to topple our country from within like this, millions of 300 million people live in this country. We decide to make America our home. We may not all like the policies of America, but we decide to stay in America because this is our home, for better or goddamn worse. So when you come to try to screw our nation up more than it already is, on that level, you get none, no reprieve. And then that one guy sitting up there on his feet on top of Nancy Pelosi's desk, the goddamn nerve. He thought he was gully. Well, they got his ass quick. I'm laughing, but the shit is serious. And every one of them needs to be made an example of. See, Mr. President-elect Joe Biden, if you like that, because you were tough with that 1994 crime bill. I ain't forget that shit either. I ain't forget that shit. But you were real tough. Let's see how tough you are now. You were real tough with that 1994 crime bill. I told you, this one, y'all gonna get that heat. Y'all gonna get this work. You're gonna pay attention to this podcast. You were real tough with that 1994 crime bill. Sent a lot of niggas to jail. That shit sent many men, many fathers to jail. And people still elected your ass. Oh, you gonna get that heat. What you gonna do now, Joe? You had all that energy. back then, what you gonna do to these white nationalist terrorists, treasonous individuals that literally try to topple the country? Please send this shit to Joe Biden. Because that's the real question. What you gonna do? Because if you do not do something publicly, these people are not going to stop. They're not. What happens to a bully when a bully is constantly allowed to bully someone? They get emboldened. I mean, we know this. We know basic psychology. We know we're human beings. You know, this isn't rocket science. This is just plain, simple human behavior. When a bully beats up on a kid, he keeps doing it. Give me your lunch money. Give me your food. I don't like you today. A couple of slaps in the head, and it keeps going on because the bully becomes emboldened. Just like how you allow the cops to kill black people indiscriminately, they get emboldened. Just like all these mass shooters that we used to have, and we still have, it's been slowed down a little bit. All these male white mass shooters are shooting everywhere, and they're not doing 50 years to life. They get emboldened. Now you got white nationalists trying to topple our nation's capital. They got emboldened. And if you don't do something to them, if they are not properly dealt with, they'll do it again. I'm going to say it again. They will do it again. You don't think so? Uh-huh. We're in the 2020s. We're in the roaring 20s. Shit, we're living in a time of popping off. This decade is different. This decade is different. All of America is different. Yes, I could see them trying that shit again. Not in the same manner. Because bullies sometimes learn from their mistakes. But if you don't deal with this now, publicly, across the board, your white nationalist terrorist problem, it's going to get worse. Now, if you wanted to get worse, then don't do anything about it. To your demise. This was an insurrection. These people are treasonous. Now, I'm not saying all Trump supporters are treasonous, and I'm not saying they all were insurrectionists, because some people didn't go in there. I'm talking about the ones that, because if you see, there's some people who are like, oh shit, they were actually the ones taking the video. Like, oh, what are they doing? What are we doing? No, oh. Some people had actual sense, because there was actual people, videoing it. They didn't go in. They were filming. They knew what they were doing. They knew what was going on. They were like, this is not right. Oh shit. Uh-oh. Some people, they actually, some people, they had senses. Most of them didn't. And the videos are going to show that a lot of them didn't. A lot of them got hyped with the moment. All that damn fluoride you've been pumping well, not me, I don't drink that. I don't drink tap water. But all that fluoride you've been pumping in their asses, they got real dumb. They didn't know what they were doing. They really didn't. No, they knew what they were doing. They didn't understand the ramifications of what they were doing. But they will now, if you do what you're supposed to do and expedite that goddamn punishment. Boop, boop. This shit will not be tolerated. Justice has to be served. Swift punishment. Because the world is watching. America. Joe Biden. Democratic House of Congress. The goddamn world is watching. They want to stay. They're looking to see if you're weak. China's definitely watching this shit like, oh, they're that weak? We would have killed every one of them. And rightfully so. And we would have too. Let's be real, very honest. We're living in 2021. A lot of soft shit. You know, we got a lot of people who got too much estrogen in them. And in our Congress, we would have any other time in history, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, these people would have got murked. They wouldn't even, they knew they would have got murked. They wouldn't have never tried it. But a lot of softness has happened throughout these years. A lot of estrogen, too much estrogen in these men. And these politicians. The world is watching. The world is watching. And if, like I said, if nothing is done publicly, as well as swiftly, as well as, real reform on this particular situation, dealing with these white, male, treasonous terrorists. The problem that you know you have that you haven't wanted to deal with. Because some of them are in your family. Some of them are the judges. Many of them are the police officers. Some of them are the prosecutors. Because these people are all in our system. But now you got to root that problem out. You got to pull that root, that infestation out. Because you have now seen how far it will go. You worrying about black people. This whole time you worrying about black people just trying to survive. Not trying to survive and make it and not leaving us alone. You worrying about us. While it's your own that looks like it was going to be your demise. So in a few ways, maybe this is a good and a bad thing. This is a wake up to you, America. A wake up call to you. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you peace. On that note, family, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Support the Gully Squad at patreon.com. And remember, we are one.